Greetings once again, heroes and villains out there. Duuz-Diz-Din back with more My Hero Academia. Last time, Bakugo managed to whittle down All For One into the form of an infant with all the damage he received, with All For One making a final, desperate, I'd say sprint, but it was more of a crawl towards Tomura. But the mighty Dynamite stood in his way. Never before have I wanted to see a teenager beat up an infant. All For One continued to give into his most basic, primal, rage-filled instinct and made a mistake that ultimately cost him his life, with Bakugo's final hit reverting All For One into nothing. However, even with the Demon King dealt with, his predecessor is still proving to be just as, if not even more, destructive and chaotic, using his improved decay quirk to destroy an entire prefecture of Japan, with his decay threatening to destroy the entire island. And Japan is not a small island. And in the ensuing battle against Deku, Tomura Shigaraki comes within inches of decaying away Deku. But even with the minorest of touch, something still happened. Tomura seemingly took danger sense, with Deku having lost one of his greatest abilities, let's face it, that's helped him out so far, and with us being shown that Tomura has found a way to affect the forces of One For All, things are looking even more desperate for Deku. Can he overcome Tomura? I mean, it's the name of the game, so let's find out, shall we? Alright, we see within the vestige of One For All, Yuichi tells the others, "Don't cling to sentimentality. This fight has long since been passed on to the successor. Bringing down Tomura Shigaraki is our entire reason for still existing." Banjo then calls out, "My man, until the kiddo finds a way to break past that regen wall, it's feeling like a losing battle." Suddenly, Hikage's danger sense goes off. Oh yeah, he always put the little titles so out of the way. My Hero Academia number 411, History's Greatest Villain. Ooh, what a title. Oh man, that is so disturbing. So you literally see the vestige of Tomura reaching inside of One For All. Hikage, naturally having sensed what was about to happen, leaps in the way, pushing everyone else away from being taken. And as Kudo calls out to Shinomori as he's grabbed by Tomura, Hikage calls out, "The knife is in your hands," and he disappears. Banjo appears to Deku, calling out, "Kiddo, the fourth!" Shinomori and Danger Sense have been stolen away back in the real world as Deku and Tomura float above in the sky. Tomura looks at himself, eyes his hand, and says, "That unbroken chain of inherited might, the power that drove my master up the wall. Meh, I don't share his obsession, but hey, whatever helps me destroy you." And as Hikage's chair disintegrates and looks back saying, "Just like that? He's gone? His chair too?" Banjo tells him, "That creep busted into our psychic space and got one over on us like it was nothing." Deku then unleashes Black Whip times Fajin plus Gear Shift, using Black Chain, sending out black energy chains towards Tomura. But Tomura, using Danger Sense, I kind of hate that. I really kind of hate that. Manages to avoid, and Tomura smiles saying, "Ooh, no wonder you could dodge all my attacks." Deku thinks to himself, he's using the Force Danger Sense now. Tomura smiles saying, "My destruction can start with the biggest pain in my neck, you." Jeez, and Tomura rockets forward. Man, the art in this is crazy. And Tomura screams out, questioning, "You can't pretend you didn't see me crying. Was that it? Are you seriously still treating me like a human being?" Deku shields himself with Black Whip from Tomura's assault, but Tomura's strike knocks Deku miles backwards as Tomura calls out, "You're still hung up on that on all that, Midoriya. Take a good look at me. I've moved so far beyond that. And Deku is just still flying back to a forested area. As Deku hits the ground, he undoes the black whip ball. Ah, man, but he's bleeding from his forehead as blood gushes down. Also, just note that above the eye, if you ever seen wrestling, there's a vein here that, it's not a very fatal cut, but it's easy to get a cut up here, and it always gushes a lot of blood. Wrestlers will do that in order to, make themselves look injured. They'll take a little small something and slice above just to make it look like, oh, I've been beaten bloody. So it's really easy to bleed from there if you've never, been cut above the eye. But Deku, as he huffs and puffs in exhaustion, he thinks, by wrapping myself in layers of black whip and focusing solely on defense, I could stave off the lethal blows. Deku's mask crumbles away. He thinks, my mask. He thinks of All Might, who went to Hamina Ward and found the mask. He thinks, the mask All Might brought back to me. As Deku laments this, Bruce appears, saying, right, you only just equipped that in order to keep breathing in those rolling waves, but now look where we are thanks to his haphazard rampage. Deku looks up to where Bruce was motioning, and then he sees that he's under Mount Fuji. Wow, I don't really see many manga that ever take the fight this close to Mount Fuji. Deku looks up to the mountain saying, we're so close to Mount Fuji. Bruce tells him, right, as the gear shifts wearing off, keep in mind he only stole a quirk, and that doesn't affect your overall physical boost. Your raw strength is locked up in One for All, not in the quirk factors, so you've just got to survive until you're all recovered. And inside the vestiges questions, shouldn't he use the power he's got left and escape and save himself? Banjo turns to him saying, you for real, then? And tells him, Shinomori and his danger sense are what saved us a minute ago. But the next time that monster lays a hand on the ninth, he could snatch up every single one of us in his grasp. We'll all be stolen, and that's the end of that. Yuichi is seen contemplating this, but enter Tomura, who floats down a bit away from Bakugo, saying, You think I don't see you, Phantom? Chit-chatting about a plan to run away, I bet? And then Deku are taken off guard by the revelation that Tomura can see them. Gee. As Tomura approaches, he says, running and hiding is how you bunch got stronger, so I gotta destroy you before your next great escape. Yeah, you gotta finish it now. It's true. They managed to store up this much ability just by running off when the going got really tough. Tomura says, I'll destroy and destroy until you got no place to run. 'Cause Spinner was totally looking forward to that flattened horizon I'm gonna create. Love the continued relationship between Tomura and Spinner. Oh, jeez. And a wave of destruction follows in Tomura's wake. Well, decay, I should say. As Tomura says, Fuji'll be sunk by the time I'm done with it. And you just see Tomura reveling in the destruction. Banjo calls out, Kiddo, he chased you here on purpose. The mountain will erupt when his decay hits it. Oh, right, Fuji's a volcano. And calls out, Yuichi, this one is no proper successor to All for One. He delights only in destruction. He is ruin incarnate. Oh man, what a line. But Deku calls out, no, it's all somehow connected, and somewhere inside you is a person, he says to Tomura, thinking back to Uraraka's words when she was talking about Himiki Toga, where Uraraka said, she's a person too, and I have no clue what obvious for her, like what she takes for granted. And as Deku powers himself up, channeling All for One and his super strength into his arm, you see the mid-gauntlet break off and Black Whip wraps around his arm. He's ready to go in, and go in hard. And Tomura's danger sense, it goes off hard. I gotta admit, the idea to actually just destroy Japan with the eruption of Fuji, or at least take out Japan's greatest landmark, is that is such a supervillain move. Man. And the real question is, how does Deku do this while still keeping some sense of humanity in mind for Shigaraki? What does he do that still maintains that sense that Shigaraki is still a person? Because let's face it, I mean, All For One died. I mean, he was gonna die anyway, but he was he was crazy and he needed to go down. And the same really could be said for Shigaraki. Shoot, Shigaraki takes offense to the very idea that Deku sees him as a person still. What can Deku do to get to some part of Shigaraki? Especially because the longer this fight goes on, the more, like they said, like En said, the more powers and abilities Shigaraki could absorb. Hey man, but an erupting Mount Fuji as the backdrop for their battle? Gee, that's kinda wild. Oh, yeah, Horikoshi, he's going all in. He's going all in, because this is it. This is it. We took out One For All. I mean, All For One. He's done. This is the final battle. It's all about this moment right here. My Hero will be done by the end of 2024 time of recording. And I'm kind of excited because I'm just curious. What are you going to do, Deku? And how much will he lose in the process? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thank you so much for watching and hope to see you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye.